The Constitution of India, Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Hi my dear children, welcome to a new session of English class. Let's begin our session with a small quote. Life is like a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. So we all are like bicycles. We can keep our balance only as long as we keep moving, right? Yes. So my dear children, likewise, you should try to balance your academics and co-curricular. And also learn to balance your happy moments and sad moments. Got it? Yes. So we have completed learning a poem from a railway carriage. Hope the summary is clear for you. Today, we are going to learn about poetic devices. Children, do you know what a poetical device is? Yes. Poetical devices are tools that a poet uses to create rhythm, enhances a poem's meaning, intensify a mood or feeling. So let's move on to the types of poetical devices. So some of the types of poetic devices are rhyming verse, simile, metaphor, personification, alliteration, assonance and imagery. So let us learn in detail some of the poetic devices which you have to learn this year. So the first poetic device which we are going to discuss is about rhyming words. So children, do you know what rhyming words are? You might have learned in your previous classes, isn't it? Yes. The words which end with the same sound at the end of a line in a poem. So rhyming words. Words which end with the same sound at the end of a line of a poem. So remember children, now the same letter, it has end with the same sound. For example, sky high. The sound of the sky rhyme with the word high. Sky high. And next one, free tree. So remember, don't look for the letters, listen to the sounds, okay? So free tree. Here I have a poem for you, a short poem, The Fat Cat. I had a cat who was so fat, he could not even sit on his mat. I had a cat. So as I said already, the words which end with the same sound at the end of a line. So end of a line. This cat who was so fat. So cat fat. He could not even sit on his mat. Does the word even rhyme with mat? Even rhyme with mat? No. So cat, fat, mat. Okay? Those words are called rhyming words. So hope rhyming words are clear to you. So when you understand rhyming words, you can easily identify rhyming scheme, rhyme scheme. Okay? Next we are going to learn about rhyme scheme. See, consider this a poem. I see the sky, says an inch high, scent. Just say to the last word in each line, okay? Sky, inch high, scent. So here, does the word sky rhyme with end? Sky, end. Does it have any similarity with the sound? No. We are going to give rhyme scheme for this poem, right? So the first line, the word ends with sky. So we are going to give rhyme scheme A. So always remember, when we are writing the rhyme scheme, or we have to use only small letters, okay? So as we know, we have 26 letters in English alphabet, and which letter starts first? A, right? So we can also start here A, and what about the second one? The ending word is end. So does the word sky rhyme with end? Rhyme, sky, end? No. So we can give it as B. Then high. Does the word end rhyme with high? No. Does the word high rhyme with sky? High, sky. Yes. So again we have to give the letter A. And next one, scent. Does the word high rhyme with scent? No. So which word is rhyming with scent? Yen. Yes, yen, scent. So it becomes B. So the rhyme scheme for this poem is AB, AB. Right? Let me give you one more example. So here in the first line, the ending word is star. And the second line, R. And third line, first, and the last line, just. So now, how can we give rhyme scheme for this poem? Let's see. Star. So as I told, we have to give the letter A. And R. Star, R. Star, R. So it runs same. So the word star rhyme with R. So A. And what about the third line? First. Does the word R rhyme with first? No. So we have to give it as B. Does the word first rhyme with just? First, just. Yes. So first, just. So again we have to give the word letter B. So what is the rhyme scheme here? A, B. Got it, children? Yes. So hope rhyming words are clear for you. Next we are going to learn about simile. Simile is used to compare two different things using the word as or like. And simile is a direct comparison. So in the previous classes we already discussed about simile. Let me give you some examples. First one, the king is as brave as lion. Here, the king and lion both are entirely different, right? But the bravery of the king is compared to the bravery of the lion. Got it, children? So the bravery of the king and bravery of the lion are compared here using the word as. So as brave as. Got it? And the second one, shopkeeper is as cunning as fox. What do you mean cunning? Tandra. So here, shopkeeper and fox are entirely different, right? But the cunningness of shopkeeper is compared to the cunningness of fox. So here also as cunning as. The word we used here is as. And third one, his thoughts are as deep as an ocean. How can we compare the thoughts of man with an ocean? Here, the depth of person's thought is compared to the depth of an ocean. So here, the depth of the thoughts is compared to the depth of the ocean using the word as deep as. Okay, സോ ഒരു മനുഷ്യന്റെ ആഴമേറിയ ചിന്തകൾ ഏതിനോട് കമ്പയർ ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നു? ആഴമേറിയ ഓഷനെ പോലെ. റൈറ്റ്. നെക്സ്റ്റ് വൺ with the example like. Ria looks like a fairy. So here Ria resembles a fairy. It's a direct comparison. So Ria are poleyana fairy pole. So Ria looks like a fairy. Here the word used like. Next one, the boy ran like a tortoise. How did the boy run? Yes, the boy ran like a tortoise. The next one, the kitten roared like tiger. Here the roaring of the kitten and roaring of the tiger are like same. So the word like is used in this sentence. So it's simple to identify simile in a poem. So whenever we find as and like in the poem, it is simile. Got it? Yes. Next we are going to learn about metaphor. Metaphor is an indirect comparison between two things or objects which are different from each other but have some common characteristics. Got it? For example, the camel is the ship of the desert. Here, camel and ship both are entirely different. One is living thing and other one is non-living thing, but they have one common characteristics. Can you find out, children? Yes, both are used to help the people to travel. In camel also we can travel, and at the same time the ship also we can travel. So we are comparing two different things but have some common characteristics. Got it? So hope simile and metaphor is clear to you. Let me describe in a nutshell. Okay? Simile is a direct comparison and metaphor is an indirect comparison. And a comparison of two things having nothing in common. But in metaphor, comparison between two things having some common characteristics. For example, camel and ship, right? And third one, use the words as or like for comparison. But in metaphor, doesn't use as or like for comparison. So it's easy whenever you find as or like words in a poem, it is simile. Got it? So simile is a direct comparison and metaphor is an indirect comparison. Got it, children? Hope now is clear about simile and metaphor. So next we are going to discuss about personification. So children, can we give life to a non-living thing or to an object? If you pour water to this duster, will it grow? No, right? So personification means giving human qualities to animals, objects or abstract ideas. So personification means human qualities are given to animals, objects or abstract ideas. So what do you mean by abstract ideas? That means which we cannot touch or see. For example, ideas, feelings. Can we touch the ideas or see the ideas? No. For example, opportunity knocked the door only once. So the abstract noun opportunity gives the human quality of knocking. So who can knock the door? Human beings can knock the door, right? Can the opportunity can knock the door? No. But in personification, the human quality is given to the abstract noun opportunity, right? Our next example, the stars danced in the moonlit sky. Who can able to dance? Yes, the human things can dance. Does the stars have hands and legs to dance? No. So here, the human quality of dancing is given to the stars. Okay? So the stars danced in the moonlit sky. So personification means given human qualities to an animal, object or abstract ideas. Got it, children? Yes. So next we are going to learn about alliteration. It's a repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of successive words. What do you mean successive? തുടർച്ചയായി. So as you know, we have 26 letters in English alphabet. 5 are vowels and 21 are consonants. A, E, I, O, U are vowels and B, C, D, F, etc. Those are consonants. So alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds. Okay, consonant sounds at the beginning of successive words. For example, you heard the tongue twister, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. So, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Can you identify the consonant sounds repeated in this sentence? Yes. The consonant sound P, the beginning of the word. Peck, pickle, pepper. So the consonant sound P, but the letter is P, it sounds as P. Peter Piper picked, peck, pickled peppers. So, alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of successive words. തുടർച്ചയായി വരുന്ന വാക്കുകളുടെ. Got it? Yes. Next example. She sells seashells by the seashore. She sells seashells by the seashore. Here, you might have thought the word letters S is repeating many times, right? But in alliteration we have to see to the consonant sounds. Sh. Here it is S. Again S. Sh. S. Sh. So the sounds, consonant sounds, sh and s are repeated. Okay? She. So the sound is, consonant sound is sh. Sh. She. Shells also sh. And shore also sh. Other words, s, s, s. Got it? Here the repetition of sh and s. And the next one is, the boys are busy bouncing basketballs. So which consonant sound is repeating here? Yes. B. 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 So the boys busy bouncing basketballs. So the consonant sound B is repeated here in the sentence. Got it? Alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of the successive words. Is it clear for you, children? Yes. Next, we are going to learn about assonance. So, assonance is a repetition of vowel sounds anywhere in a word. Either it can be in the beginning or in the middle or at the end of the words. Got it? For example, the man with the hat had a bad apple. So which vowel sound is repeating here? So as we know, we have 5 vowels, A, E, I, O, U. So the vowel sound is repeated. Man, hat, had, bad, apple. So, see, look at this sentence. The vowel sound So letter is A. It sounds is repeated in the middle, in the beginning. Okay? So it's a repetition of vowel sounds anywhere in a word, either in the middle of the line, middle of the word, or in the beginning of the word. Yes. So difference between alliteration and assonance is repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of the word, and in the assonance, repetition of vowel sounds anywhere in a word. Got it? So next we are going to discuss about imagery. What is image? What is an image? Rubam, right? So imagery is something related to your senses. How many sense organs we have? 5, right? Eyes to see, ears to hear, nose to smell, tongue to taste, and skin to feel. So here the imagery is related to our senses. Imagery is creating a picture in the reader's mind by making the reader see, hear, smell, taste, and touch what is being described in the poem. So we have 5 types of imagery. First one is visual imagery, that appeals the sight, what you see. And second one is auditory image, what you hear. And third one is tactile imagery, that is what you touch. And the fourth one is gustatory, what you taste. And last one is olfactory, what you smell. So in the upcoming poems, we will learn more about imagery. Right? So imagery is a descriptive writing that appeals to the senses. And we have five imagery: visual, auditory, tactile, gustatory, and olfactory. Right? So children, close your eyes for a few minutes. I am going to take you to all the 5 imageries. So close your eyes, okay? Imagine that you are standing near a mango tree. Now you can visualize a mango tree, right? And you can hear the rustling of the leaves, that is movement of the leaves. So you can hear the movement of the leaves. And you pluck the mango from the tree. So you can touch the mango and you can feel the softness of the ripened mango. And you eat it. When you eat the mango, you can taste it, right? When you are eating the mango, you are getting the aroma of the, that is smell of the ripened mango. Right, children? Open your eyes. So we included all the 5 imageries. That is, when we visualize the mango tree, it's visual imagery. When we heard the movement of the leaves, that is auditory imagery. When we touch the soft ripened mango, it's tactile imagery. When we ate the mango, it's gustatory imagery. And when we smelt it, it is olfactory imagery. Right, children? Hope all these poetry devices are clear to you. We have discussed today rhyming words, simile, metaphor, alliteration, assonance, personification, and imagery. So go through today's video. So that's all for today's session. Thank you, and it's bye from your Hindu teacher.